Okay, folks. This is a test stream of sorts. Howdy, hope everybody's having a good Easter weekend. Testing out my new overlay, make sure things work, make sure the audio's okay. It's very hard for me to get audio mixing good for this in YouTube. I have no idea why. Just is. No, I don't want to adjust that. I want to adjust this. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, that looks good there. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking good. We're sounding good. Hang on, let me just take off my webcam for a minute. Okay, sorry about that. I apologize. So we're gonna do a little bit of Splatfest tonight. Not quite sure what's gonna happen with Kirby Month. I might cancel it because I haven't been consistent with my streaming schedule. Something smells real weird. I'm just getting weird smells in my basement. I have no idea why. I hope something didn't die down here. Probably not. But I'm probably going to have to discontinue Kirby Month just because I haven't been consistent and the month's almost over. So that's just the way it goes, I suppose. Okay, so I need to choose what I want to do going into this because it's a Splatfest and it's gonna be tough. It's actually not been too bad this weekend, but I need something with good range, good damage. I'm gonna go with the Splatter Shot Pro. Yeah, it drains ink, but you know how that goes. So I'm just gonna do normal, solo. So far, I think the overlay turned out great. I'm liking the way it looks. I was a little bit worried when I went for a rounded frame and a rounded chat box frame, but it looks fine to me, really. We'll just have to see if the chat actually shows up, because the last stream I did, for whatever reason, the chat wasn't showing up in the chat box. So it just kind of looked awkward, and I hope that's not the case again. But I don't know. So I think Team Tortoise is doing okay. I haven't played for... Somebody won a ×10 battle for Team Hare. That doesn't sound good. I think it's going to be very close. We won a lot of matches when I played last night. But we didn't win a lot of matches. I also lost a lot of matches last night too, so it just depends how the other Team Tortoise teams are doing. I do like these 48-hour Splatfest though, because it kind of gives people a break and they can pick back up and help. Allows people to play at whatever hours they're comfortable with playing. It's really good. So let's see how the Splatter Shot Pro works out, if it works in our favor at all. So far, not too bad. It still drains ink like crazy. That's the biggest Achilles heel of this thing. As far as damage and output goes, I don't know. I would use it more, but it drains ink so quickly that you find yourself in bad situations more than you'd like to be. I hate being in the middle of a crowd with this thing and just spraying ink everywhere I can, trying to hit somebody. Only to find out that I've run out of ink. Because I don't have any ink refills. It's a slow refill process, so that's pretty great. I have ink sabers, but they don't seem to be doing a whole lot. Which is probably a good thing, because that would be somewhat broken in some people's opinion. Not in mine. I think it would be a useful strategy. Okay, so these are the types of players I don't particularly care for. The kind who always like to just jump around. And they've got... Like, did you see how many mobility things he had? My gosh. I'm not saying it's not a legitimate strategy, I'm just saying I don't like it. I don't like dealing with them. Because in a gunfight, they are relying on you to make the first move so that they can counter. You got triple teamed right there. See how quickly I ran out of ink? That's the... I really don't like that about this weapon. I feel like that's one of its greatest weaknesses. So you either have to go for covering turf or go strictly for splats. And I don't want to have to choose between the two. I want to be able to turn on somebody in a moment's notice. I really can't do that with this. I mean, I can. It's just going to be a little difficult because I have to make sure I have enough ink in the tank to actually finish someone off. The good news is, I think we won this match. I don't know for sure. I think that's a win. It's a good win. It's a good win. Okay. Well, that's positive. First round is a win, but I am definitely gonna change off the Splattershot Pro. No thank you, says I. Tortoise Champion. So next is Tortoise King. I could probably, if I play consistently tonight, I can probably make Tortoise King before it's over tomorrow, maybe. But if I don't, it's not the biggest loss in the world. I'm gonna go with these clear dapple dualies. Put myself in the mobility game. I like the regular dapple dualies. The dapples are my favorite of the dualies. I feel like they're the most effective. No, they don't have the longest range. They don't have the biggest spread, but they fire quick, and mobility can get you out of just about any situation. And wow, you're kidding me. Wow. Well, we've just lost this match, ladies and gentlemen. By default. You know what I always say about teams that have more rollers than necessary? You only need one. Of course, I don't blame anybody if they want to play as a roller. But if you see somebody else on the team playing as a roller, it's the safe bet is to not choose roller. Just because you're going to throw off the team balance, and if they have more ranged weapons than you, then you're going to get destroyed every single time, unless you are otherworldly good with the roller. They're on a 2-win streak. They've got a brush and 3 ranged weapons, so they've got us on ranged weapons. Kinda sucks. I hesitated way too long. Well, so far it looks like we're doing a good job at pushing it back. They haven't pushed through to my knowledge yet. I'm gonna just start moving anyway, because I don't want to fall for that trap again. Are you serious with the amount of... Wow. You know what they should do? They should put a limit on the amount of times that those can be used in succession, because using them in extreme succession like that seems a little broken. That's just me. You can disagree. But I feel like it's broken because it allows you to wipe half the team. Especially if they're not... Now, granted, they do let you know when somebody has their special. Really? That's the game you're gonna play? Ha! Yeah, go right into it. Good roll tactics, boy. He did get rid of that, but... That's a safe spawn, so I'm gonna hit it. I'm actually very surprised I lived through that. I almost never super jump. To me, it's hardly ever worth it. There's only a handful of situations I can technically it's worth it. See the amount of Tenta-missile spam? It's getting annoying, really. Mostly because they use it in such rapid succession. There should be like a 30-second wait. Oh no, they turned the tide. Nope. Lost that one. Yeah, way to go choosing a roller, guy. That's not smart. I'm just saying that right now. Not trying. I don't know who you are. Not trying to insult you in any way, but that was not a smart move. I'm sure you wanted to play with it. Not a smart move. With something like the roller, you have to pay attention, especially because the Splatfest shows you which gear your teammates have. You have to pay attention. Now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe he joined and didn't tell, but he needs to change it. One of them needs to change it. It looks like he's not going to. Okay, good. Not the best option, but if they're confident enough with it, then we'll do fine. We will do just fine. I haven't had anything to eat today. Which isn't a surprise, because I've been mostly sleeping. The funny thing about having sleep apnea, if you want to call it funny, I just couldn't think of another word, but the funny thing about having sleep apnea is you can't really control how you feel. You know, there are days when I feel like I've got some energy, like I woke up this afternoon feeling like I had some energy. That's why I decided to do this stream and wanted to test things out, but not being able to control how much energy you feel you have is really tough, because you never feel rested when you sleep, really. That's what I'm experiencing right now, is I don't feel rested when I sleep. Tomorrow's Easter. My mother wants me to go to family Easter lunch that we're having, but I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay if I do go. It's a struggle. So... Sorry, I kind of drifted off in the thought there. Oh, this map is interesting. Wow. So they did that. Gotcha. Care to play. Oh, people are changing their names for the Splatfest. Interesting. I didn't watch my back. I should have. What are they doing? Oh, I just saw the map there and I'm like, team, why are you just sitting in that one area and not pushing forward? Should have at least 1 or 2 people pushing forward so that way they don't just completely... Oh my gosh. Do you guys want to win? Is that what you want? Just the little annoyances start to get to me. I've noticed that the longer I played this game, the more annoyed I get with things like suction bombs and just the different bombs that people use that you don't see out of the corner of your eye. Granted, it's kind of your fault if you play aggressively. And by kind of, I mean it is your fault. You don't pay attention. Oh, I got him, but we didn't win. I sure did clean house there, though. Man, I started to push forward. We had that whole section. Okay, well, I was about to go on a rant on why we lost there, and we won. So, never mind. I'm sure they're just as surprised as I am, because that looked like they won. Looks like they took it back. It was probably just a small area that we had more in. I couldn't tell. Could not tell. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, this is Turkey Hill Lemonade Tea, a central Pennsylvania staple. It's really good. Better than Arnold Palmer, I'll say that. Arnold Palmer's not bad, it's just... it's a different type of tea that they use. But this tea lemonade combo is really good. I think they use their own lemonade, because they also make lemonade, and they use their own tea. So it comes out really good. Maybe they have a special lemonade blend that they use for the tea that's different than the lemonade, I'm not sure, but... Central Pennsylvania, the whole... any area that you can find Turkey Hill tea products, be sure to pick some up and try it. Because it is good. Anywho. Looks like we're doing a team battle. I really don't understand the purpose of these, other than we can't find any matches against the opposing team, against Team Hair. So they just kind of fill out the matches with these, because one of the original problems with the early Splatfest early on, and I do remember this, one of the biggest problems was a majority of the time you were going up against your own team. You could hardly find any matches. I think that was specifically a problem with ketchup versus mayonnaise. Ugh. Why was that even a Splatfest? Why? It should have been... most people thought it should have been ketchup versus mustard, because it just makes more sense, but apparently in Japan, mayonnaise is a big condiment, apparently. I don't even remember who won. Does anybody remember who won that? I'm pretty sure it was Ketchup. But it was interesting seeing white and red ink. It's a combo I never really thought I would see. And people thought it was kind of... Even people at Nintendo, Krista from Nintendo Minute was like, this is gross. She posted that on Twitter. And people are like, oh, even people from Nintendo think it's gross. I'll be honest, I don't like mayonnaise. I really don't. Mayonnaise is a white sauce I don't particularly care for. Ranch is a little different. Ranch is okay, and it just depends on which. I do like blue cheese dressing. I think that's pretty good, especially with honey barbecue wings. Oh, man. Blue cheese and honey barbecue wings, boneless honey barbecue wings in particular, all day, every day. Not really, because I'd die. Gotta really watch. Oh, that's so bad. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. And I mean, again, this is a team battle, so it doesn't really matter. It just matters for... It's just for clout. So it just helps you get your score up if you win. Get me to that sweet, sweet Turtle King. Tortoise King. Koopa King. Bowser. Oh, what a Splatfest. Oh, that's actually not a bad thing. 2 Sploosh-o-matics, a blaster, all Sheldon weapons. I don't know what you call weapons that have his seal like that on it. I really still want the wasabi splatter shot. I don't care if it's just a green splatter shot. I want it. I want it. Maybe some wasabi dualies? Maybe? Just looks cool. I like alternate splatter shot variants. Like the hero shot replica that looks like P90. Okay, let's be honest. It is P90 in Splatoon. I'm actually very surprised. I don't know who manufactures the P90. I think it's Sig Sauer. I'm very surprised, though. They must have gotten permission, though, obviously. But I wonder what made them choose specifically the P90. What made them think, oh yeah, this is a great weapon for Splatoon. Okay, so a pro tip for any of you who use Tenta missiles. If you see somebody that looks like they're close to their spawn, don't waste your Tenta missiles because they can just use the... They can just use the spawn as a cover point. You don't want that. Well, at least I got the assist. That was actually a bad move on my part. I shouldn't have turned my back on that, on mid here. Going up the center hill. That would have left me wide, and it did. It would have left me wide open for attack. I'm still in a position where somebody could very easily drop down, so I don't want to spend too much time in here. just clean it up enough. It really looks like they're not. Oh, dude, did I ever get him? We are pushing him back and doing a good job at it. He's taking mid. Got that ink storm coming. Just gotta be careful. And again, this is just another team match, but really good for Cloud. Doing good in the splash department with this thing. Oh, that's a big win. Baboom! Splat! All right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go out and get my gear scrubbed. Just so I can stack up ability chunks, because this is probably the best opportunity I'm going to have to do that, because I don't play a lot of Salmon Run. Alright. Wait a minute, what does the ability doubler do? I forget. What did I just hit? I hit the wrong thing. Oh, just the lobby. Okay, well I can do what I need to do from here anyway. Doubles the effect of other gear abilities attached to this gear. Okay, I wondered if it doubled the ability chunks, which would have been awesome, but nope. The unfortunate part about scrubbing your gear is that you go in with less abilities, because now you're only tied to the abilities that you have on your hat and on your shoes. If you already play the game, you know this, but just thought I'd point it out for those who are unfamiliar. Not everybody's a Splatoon player who watches. Anyways, I hope you guys like the new layout, the new theme. It's actually inspired by something very obscure, which is the green shell gear in the Camelot Mario sports game, specifically Mario Golf World Tour and Mario Tennis Open. They have both green and red shells, and they have this cool, awesome hexagon design where you got a dark green background and light green panels. Sort of resemble a turtle shell, or a radiated beehive, I guess. That's one way to put it. But I thought it looks cool. And I really want to see what I can do for a t-shirt design for that, but it won't be something that goes for sale unless people are really wanting it. Then maybe I'll do a t-shirt campaign, but that's a big if. And I hate this map. I really do. Oh man. Shifty Station, is it? Yeah. No, is that the name of this map? Shifty Station? I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, looks like we got this pretty locked down. And now let's go to the living nightmare that is mid on this map. Try to do some damage there. We get closer to it. I'm glad I could act as a spawn point. I could just spam these. Blowing. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Oh. Like I told you, mid is a nightmare. Ooh, got one of them. Oh boy, the hard part is that mid is gonna probably decide this game. Unfortunately. And that's a loss, I would imagine. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it actually isn't. We won by 6%. Wow. I wasn't sure if that bit towards their spawn would be enough, but apparently it was. Huh. That's not bad. Still got 600 some more points to go. Do a few more rounds with the Dapples. I don't really have any reason to switch. Ha, get it. Switch. Nintendo Switch. Nah. Not the first person to make that horrible joke. Certainly won't be the last. There are rumors going around that Nintendo is going to do sort of a Switch family. You know how Xbox and PlayStation now have these family of different versions of the same console? I wouldn't put that outside the realm of possibility, but I'm going to pose this to people. Before Reggie stepped down as president of Nintendo America, he said that at a later date, the 3DS would have a successor. And it wasn't going to be the Switch. He has said this before. Now, they could call it a Switch, it could be in the Switch family, but it's not going to be as powerful as the Switch. It's probably not going to be nearly as big as the Switch. Because the 3DS is a dedicated portable. The Switch is semi-portable. Yeah, you can take it probably anywhere, but your battery life is going to depend on what exactly you're playing. And you can't exactly fit it in your pocket. And believe it or not, that is a big qualifier. Now, in recent years, for some stupid reason, in my opinion, I've heard people complain about things like the 3DS. Like, I won't get a 3DS because the screen is too small. And I'm thinking, did these people not grow up with Game Boys? Did they really? So your main selling point, or your main reason for not buying the 3DS is because it's got a screen that's too small, even though it's bigger screen than a traditional Game Boy. Okay. Now again, I would be really interested to know if you owned a Game Boy at some point in your life when you made that claim. That would be very interesting. Okay, that didn't save you, buddy. still got him, but oh man, do they have mid. We gotta start really cleaning up here. They broke through. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. Get rid of that. This. Alright, let's take back mid, guys. Let's hard charge it up. I'm just waiting to see what they do. Ha! Got him. Oh, he fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Come on, guys. You have to get him. I don't know. I don't know, I say. Yeah, we won that. Big time. I'm seeing a lot of wins on my end. I hope it's enough. Oh, boy. No, I am sticking with the dapples. Until they really stop working for me. And see, that's the thing. If you come within death range of me using the dapples, you're in trouble. Because they can kill quick. Especially at short ranges, so... These players were smart, they would keep their distance. And that's just a good general rule of Splatoon. Bowser 678. You spelled Bowser wrong, but okay. There's a Tortoise King. How long have we been alive? 40 minutes? Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. So to give you guys sort of an update on where things are at in the YouTube department with the Let's Plays. Still doing Kirby. Been on this weird hiatus because of sleep apnea. So... At some point, I'm going to start recording some more parts. I just have to set up a recording schedule, really, alongside my stream schedule. Just to make things more consistent. Because right now, I'm just sort of doing things by ear. I redid my initial stream schedule. I was doing Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. But I changed it to Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. The reason I chose those days was because they seemed like the less busy days. So I could have more people watch. You know, so hopefully it all works out. But I don't know if I'm going to be doing regular streams yet. If I do, I'll start this upcoming Monday, but I don't know if I'm going to. I'll try. I hate chargers, by the way. And I should say I hate people who are... I don't hate anybody. That was a stupid thing to say, because it's not true, but... I hate it when people are good with chargers, because they're annoying. There are people who don't know what they're doing with chargers, and they don't use them. That's why you don't see them very often. Oh my gosh, what? Guys, we have to really be pushing them back here. Alright. We got him. Let's keep him out of our spawn, please. What? Are we down a teammate? Please don't tell me we're down a teammate. What the heck? Oh, it's one of those matches. One of the matches that I hate playing Splatfest for. Ugh. Arg. That was brutal. But what can you do? Just got outplayed. We got really outplayed. My gosh. Look at the splats they got. 17. It would have been interesting to see what their setups were. Still gonna stick with the dapples again. No reason really not to. I'm tempted to go to roller, but in a Splatfest, I don't want to tempt contributing to the possibility of being an all-roller team. Alright, so we've all got short-range weapons, which isn't great, but isn't terrible. It just depends on who we're up against. If we're up against a team that has a solid charger like last time, then we could be in some trouble. Lost connection to team, returning to lobby. Okay. Let's just go right back in. Now, it is weird you can't change your gear during a Splatfest. I understand them wanting you to wear a Splatfest tee. What the heck, Nintendo? Are we doing this, or are the servers bugged? There we go. So we got two champions, a defender, and a queen. Which, based on that name, I guarantee you is not an actual woman or girl. Because there's a lot of guys who plays the female because they're like, oh, it's so cute, and I've already ranted about that before. So we got the purple link this time. They got the some practice rolls here. Can roll 4 times. Wow, this whole thing is very uneven. Yeah, I know you're saying ouch this way, but you guys skipped this whole middle portion. So when they come right in and just... Wow. Do they not want to win the turf war? So I want to win it. The only way we're going to do that is if we out-ink them. And we're not doing a very good job. At least not in our base. Should have reacted quicker. Get him! Get him! There we go. Not in our house, fool! Not in our house. Haha! Oh, we are decimating them. Hello, friend. How are you? Whoa, that text is huge. I know I made it bigger, but... Oh, that's better. I'm gonna have to adjust that. How are you? Mike sounds good. Yeah, I'm good. The reason... I didn't DM you this, but the reason that the microphone doesn't sound good in the Let's Play is because I have a hard time, for whatever reason, the balance for the Let's Play sometimes is off, and I don't know if it has to do with my editor or OBS, but sometimes it's off. It does get better in... It should get better in later parts of my Let's Play. Especially the new parts I record, it'll definitely be louder. But it's hard to strike a balance between being able to hear the game and hear me. So... But it's usually good for streams. I usually have it up higher. Very interesting variety of weapons we got here. We got a Splattershot Pro, Umbrella, and a Octashot Replica. Which is just an uglier version of the old Splattershot. Big Chungus. Yeah, I noticed that. I love... You know what I love about that meme, though? The fact that Warner Brothers posted where... They posted the Looney Tunes short where that was from. And they post... And they have that moment in the clip. And then they have an annotation up top with a poll that says, Did you come for this? And all of the people who voted for yes. So it's like 100% yes, and I don't know what percentage no, but it said, "Are you here for this?" And everybody was freaking out in the comment section, like, "Oh my gosh, they're aware, they're aware." That was great. Now, I think they posted it before it became a meme. but they added that annotation in, so I thought that was really, really funny. It's a funny clip because it's Bugs mocking the original Elmer Fudd design, the Fat Elmer. Gotta hold them all right. Yeah, it was a funny short too, even beyond that part. Elmer's car doing the conga as it goes along the road, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I've loved Looney Tunes since I was a kid. I just like animation. I just like good cartoons. I spend probably 90% of my time on YouTube just watching either 8-bit animations from people or traditional Flash style animations. I love it. I can't animate to save my soul, but I appreciate good animation, and I appreciate good user animation. Because it feels like a lot of the mainstream companies are just going away from hand-drawn. I saw you, and I couldn't move. Boy. Is this a new map? Yeah, this is a Splatfest specific map. You know how they always do each Splatfest they make a map in this sort of space dimension. This one isn't terrible, it's just really chaotic at times, as you can see here. Always has some moving component. I think that's what makes it so different. Yeah, I like that New Year's when they had the silver and gold inks. Yeah, now they have Trix strawberry kiwi yogurt colors. Used to have that all the time as a kid. It was actually really good yogurt. It was really the only yogurt I liked. When I was a kid, my mother was like, "You gotta get some calcium and eat some yogurt." So I was like, "Okay, I'll eat this." You know, it's funny because I was just about to mention cotton candy because I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I had it several times. I had it as the Trix, and I had it in the Go-Gurt, I think once or twice. Never was a really big fan. Too sweet for me. But the strawberry kiwi in any yogurt really was always my preferred choice because it was the right balance. I'm glad to know that the chat box is actually showing up. I just wish I didn't make the text so large. I sort of did that because I thought it would be too small, but now it's like it's too big, so if it ever fills up, it's going to look like a mess. But it's alright for right now. What is with the connections tonight? It's like, that's the third or fourth time. If it was smaller, it will be perfect. I like the custom shape of the box. Yeah, I do too. I was worried about that, and I was talking about that a little earlier. I was worried about the custom shape, but it actually works really well. I don't know if I can adjust it live. I'm gonna try. Because I can access my Streamlabs dashboard from here. Widgets. Chat box. Okay, I think that will be good. Oh, that's way too small now. I'm gonna have to fix that after. I'm gonna have to adjust it. I mean, it actually looks alright. It's readable. But I need to just make it a smidge bigger. Not by much. It's perfect right now, I think. Yeah, it's to me it's near perfect, but I think I could just adjust it a smidge once this match is over. But that's what this stream is for, is to be able to tweak those little things. And not much is really needed tweaking. Everything has worked out pretty good. The frame fits. You know, I make my overlays in a modular frame. What I do in my logo making software, I do a 1080 or 720, 1280 by 720 background, and then I do the individual pieces, like the top flap there, whatever you want to call it, the top bar, and then I add the shape of the webcam frame and the chat box frame. And I put that on a transparent background, so then I transfer it to my computer and put it into OBS, see if it fits, and usually it does. Oh, that ended horribly for me. So, yeah, that's my process. For logo making, I use Logo Pit Plus, I believe, on Android. I don't know if it's available on iOS or not, but that's where I make all my logos, and I've made all of them from scratch. The only thing I don't claim to have made is the font. That's what I like about the software, though. It allows you to download a ton of just custom fonts. That's cool. I'll have to come up with an overlay type of thing for mine. I'm going to do a Shiba Inu theme for my channel. That sounds awesome. Shibas are cute. Cute dogs. But yeah, that's the software I use, is Logo Pit Plus. And I don't know if it's on iOS, but it is on Android. And it's been easily the best logo software I've ever used in terms of just available features. Oh, man. Lost by like 2%. What was the software called again? It was called Logo Pit Plus. Okay, I think that looks good, actually. Where the chat box is. That was more of a manual adjustment, that wasn't. Okay, on to the next match. And they went off roller. It's probably a smart move. I just wish you could adjust your weapons on this screen as well somehow, but I think it would require an overhaul of the system. Oh, we're going up against like 85% of Japan. This should be good. I think we're gonna lose. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's just a clout match, so. I was saying earlier that back in the, when they did the ketchup versus mayonnaise, that was the biggest problem with that Splatfest, aside from it just being weird, was you just kept getting same team matches over and over and over and over. It was a legitimate problem for quite a while during that Splatfest, to the point where I think a lot of people quit. Oh yeah, we're gonna lose. They've got a splatter scope user that knows what they're doing. We're screwed. What did you pick? Ketchup or mayo? Ketchup, all the way. I cannot stand mayonnaise. I hate it. I absolutely despise mayonnaise. Any sandwich or food that comes with mayo, immediately gone. Nope. Don't like mayonnaise. I still say, and I mentioned this earlier too, but I'll reiterate it. I still say it should have been mustard versus ketchup. I think that would have been interesting, because it's more of what, in America, what we associate with. I'm noticing a lot of these hidden Yoshi eggs. I'm guessing that's because it's a Splatfest for around Easter. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. Just need one of them to come down here. Are you gonna make that move? Gotta take out that splatter scoper. Ah. They know what they know what they're doing. They certainly do. Mustard would have made more sense for sure. And I think the only reason that they didn't do that is because of Japanese culture. I'm not entirely sure. Mayo may be more significant of a condiment used in Japan. I'm pretty sure it is in a lot of ways. I'll have to ask my friend who's in Japan right now. How did we do? How did we do? Ooh, this is gonna be close. 1%. We won by the skin of our teeth. Wow. Just wow. GG. That was something. Oh, and hey, we got our first ability. That's good. So, in terms of bad news, I think that my right Joy-Con's top shoulder button, the top R button, is slightly broken. Because I was playing... What was I playing the other day? Well, I was playing this, but I was also playing... I went and got Cuphead. I actually bought the game twice because I had it on Xbox One. And I noticed that it was a little bit loose, and like if I take my finger on it and I can slide it a little bit, it has a little bit of play in it. Because I noticed it didn't seem like it was picking up some inputs. So... That's so sad. They're so expensive too. They really are. I got the red ones that I'm using right now, the neon red ones for Christmas. What I don't get are the people... I've seen people who have like 10, 15 sets of Joy-Cons, and I'm like, where the heck are you getting the money for that? Is Cuphead better on Xbox or Switch? Surprisingly, Switch. At least for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but The thing I noticed with the Switch version is, at least in portable mode, I could see a whole lot more, which made it a whole lot easier to telegraph bosses, which is very, very, very important in Cuphead. So, as far as I'm concerned, I've had a better experience on Switch. I'm actually at the point where I'm farther in the Switch version than I am on the Xbox version. Yeah. Dang, I'm gonna get it and try it out soon. I wasn't sure if it would be good on Switch. It's very good on Switch, and it runs very smoothly. You can actually choose between characters, which is a new feature. And I'm pretty sure that's on Xbox as well, but I didn't notice it when I booted up the Xbox last. Eventually, I'm gonna go back and try to finish the Xbox version after the Switch. And to people who say that Cuphead is difficult, they aren't exaggerating. It is tough. But it's only as tough as you make it. The one bit of advice that I can give to new players, be sure to, as soon as you can, the first thing you need to buy is the, I don't know what the official name of it. Is it Dark Souls Hard? Because I'm not sure if I believe that. Yes. It is very comparable. You will die multiple times. And you might be taken off guard by how difficult it is. I haven't played Dark Souls myself, but from what I've heard, it is very comparably difficult. And I mean, it is a game that actively tries everything it can to stop you from progressing in as many ways as possible. The one bit of advice I have for newcomers is when you're going to use the shop mechanic, the first thing you should buy as soon as you have 4 coins and as soon as it's available is the, I don't know the official name of it, I forget, it's the boomerang shot. That thing will save you so much trouble. It does a lot of damage, and you can take down bosses a whole lot quicker. I wish I had known that when I was starting playing Cuphead, but when I started over on the Switch, and I did that just on a whim, the game is so much easier just based on that alone. And it's crazy how much easier it is. It's not, you know, a walk in the park by any means, but it's way more accessible. And that's usually after the, you can get access to the, well, actually, you can access the shop right away. Because the first character that you talk to on the map screen will give you coins. And I don't remember, yeah, if you do the tutorial, you get 1 coin for free, and then after you go outside and talk to him, you have a total of 4, so you should have enough. But that is definitely the first thing you want to do. And that's one that you have to fire it backwards, so you have to face away from the boss and just let the bullets come back. But I'm telling you, it makes bosses so much more bearable. Especially on that first section there. The very first boss isn't bad. It's actually pretty easy, but second and third bosses are really when it starts to kick you in the pants. I actually thought about playing Cuphead. But then I figure, you know what? At some point, I might just do a how far can I get stream of it. Start a file. It is a gorgeous game, though. I mean, in terms of the animation quality and the work that was put into it, it is phenomenal. It really looks like an early Disney Warner Brothers cartoon in every sense. Kind of a mixture of the two. And the filter that they use to make it look that dated is just outstanding. And yet it's still 60 FPS. It's crazy. Making me need to go buy it. I want to wait for the physical release. Honestly, at this point, I used to be a very staunch get the physical release person, but what I've said now is I'm only going to do that for first-party Switch titles that I really, really want, because quite frankly, I mean, with a lot of these games, it's just the sake of convenience, and I mean, I do like having a box and a game cartridge, but I don't know, for me, it's just, I want to play the game. So, digital has that convenience, and the My Nintendo Reward system allows me to save money with the points. The gold points, so you can store up gold points and then save money on your next purchase, which is very useful. I think that's the biggest advantage of digital right there, is the My Nintendo Gold points. Right now I've got, I think, $4 in gold points saved up, so I get $4 off whatever my next purchase will be. I get money off through work now, so it's still kind of worth it for me. Well, that works too. That works too. For me, I'm just like, if a game comes out that's an indie game, that's digital, I'll just be like, yeah, I'll get it. I bought Final Fantasy Pocket solely with gold points, though. Awesome. I got Final Fantasy 9. And I was going to get 7 this month, but I decided against it. Mostly due to budget and with Cuphead coming out, and I'd already gotten MX vs. ATV all out on Xbox. You know, I was trying to split between Xbox purchases and Switch purchases. So I made a lot of smaller Switch purchases. Oh yeah, and Yoshi's Crafted World, which I wrote a review of Yoshi's Crafted World on my blog, my Tumblr blog, which I just recently redid, so I can focus on actually writing out game reviews. It's my first, I put a lot of work into that. That's my first more journalism-styled review, and I've always wanted to do a review like that, so that was my opportunity to be able to do it. I think it turned out pretty okay. But overall, I liked Crafted World. I'm just trying to think of... I believe the information to my... If you want the information of where my blog is, because it's not named Super Koopa, it's actually named... I believe I named it... No, I did name it Super Koopa, I think. In terms of the access. But I did a review, sort of a... It's not really a spoiler review either, it's just a basic sort of pros and cons of different elements of the game that I liked and disliked. I wanted to make it a very balanced review that didn't look overly positive or negative, but just was an assessment of the game's strengths and weaknesses, because that's how I like to do... That's how I like to look at reviews. I respect reviews that do that, because everybody has a bias, of course, but if there are things I like about a game, I want to make sure that I point them out in good detail, so that way people don't think that, you know, the game is horribly terrible just because I don't particularly like a part of it. It's like talking about, the past couple days I decided to go and replay Majora's Mask 3D, or not even replay, but just start a new file and try to beat it, because I've never beaten Majora's Mask. I didn't own Majora's Mask Classic. I only own the 3DS version because I was never interested in it. I never liked it. I got the 3DS version, started a file, got fairly far. Still don't really like it. But I want to try to play through it and do a dedicated playthrough just to see if at some point the game can change my mind about it. But I've never beaten it either. I only have the 3DS one. The time constraints stress me out. Yes, that is exactly my thing. In fact, I'm strongly considering, after I get to a good point in that file, or even before, of writing a, maybe not a review of, but some of the reasons why it's definitely one of my least favorite Zelda games, and some of the things that keep it for me from being better than it could be. I've really thought about doing that, especially because the Yoshi review turned out so good. But I'd have to structure it probably a little different, because I would be focusing on more of the negative aspects, I guess. But the time constraint is a huge one, and that's one I've seen a lot of people try to make excuses for. But see, here's the thing about Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask was never meant to be a full game. It was only meant to be add-on content for Ocarina of Time for the N64 disk drive. And so when that project was canceled, they had to stretch it out into a full game. And that's a part of how they did it, was by adding that time constraint, because there's only 4 dungeons compared to, I forget how many are in Ocarina of Time. I think it's like 9, which is usually, I think that's the traditional number, is 9. Possibly more than that. I can't remember. But it's certainly not 4. So Ocarina was... Okay. Alright, thank you. 3 is a kid, 6 is an adult. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, when you look at it from that perspective, I would have said, okay, so it was a DLC. Basically expand upon Ocarina of Time. You know, it was sort of a half sequel. But instead, because the N64 disk drive failed, they stretched it out into a full game, and it was sort of made on a crunch. And I think the game, ultimately, it turned out good. It improved on some of the Ocarina of Time things, but the time constraint is the most controversial feature. There are people who swear by it, and then there are people who just don't like it, like myself. I just don't care for it, because in my mind, when I'm playing a game like that, I want to be able to have the freedom to do more. If you can do things, you have to do things within the time constraints. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, you can slow down the flow of time. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can, but it's not by a huge margin. It allows you to do slightly more, but once that day is gone and all the events of that day are gone, if you haven't done those events, you have to do them over. It's still not enough slowed down. Yes, exactly. Thank you. But everybody raves about Majora's Mask like it is the greatest Zelda game, or at least before Breath of the Wild, which I've got feelings about Breath of the Wild too. But Majora's Mask, it doesn't feel complete to me. It feels like it's sort of disjointed. And some of the gameplay just, it works, and then some of it doesn't. Ah, that's a hard loss right there. You know, locking everything behind a 3-day cycle, to me, was an odd decision. Especially when you consider how it affects how you play the game. It affects your inventory, it affects events that happen. And a lot of the time is spent manipulating and or waiting time to do certain things. I'm not a big fan of that. That comes across as tedious to me personally. To a lot of other people, apparently it doesn't, but to me, it's an annoyance. But I will tell you, my favorite Zelda of all time, definitively now, until they make a game that is better, which Link's Awakening could top it if it's done well. Because I have the original Link's Awakening. My favorite is A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. That is my all-time favorite Zelda game currently. I fell in love with that game the first time I played through it. Love it. Absolutely love it. I guess giving the time Giving the time limit helped the games last longer since there were only 4 dungeons. Without time, it would be so fast to beat. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the point of the extension of the time limit, I guess you could say. I have Between Worlds, but haven't touched it yet. What? All I can say is, what are you waiting for? That game is a masterpiece. It's not like to me, it feels like it takes the Zelda formula and it takes what they did in the 2D game, specifically Link to the Past, and it does everything so great. It streamlines a lot of the things that needed to be streamlined. It told a really compelling story, a story that you genuinely felt for, and that had good twists. It was so good. And the mechanic that it was based around didn't feel gimmicky. It just worked. As Todd Howard would say. It just works, even when it doesn't. Oh boy. That's a whole nother can of worms. But, yeah, that's my favorite. And then my second least favorite Zelda game is actually Breath of the Wild. And it's for similar reasons to Majora's Mask. And it's mostly, it's the constraints that they put on you. But in Breath of the Wild, it's in the form of breakable weapons. That's probably the biggest one for me. And then the lack of dungeons is another one. The lack of dungeons doesn't really bother me. The shrines are okay. But the breakable weapons, I can't get over that. For me, it de-incentivizes combat. I know what they're trying to go for. What they're trying to do is allow you to experiment with different weapons and different strategies. As a traditional Zelda player, that's too far of a leap for me. And I spent many hours in that game. And I like the ability to use different weapons that they offer you. I just wish that between the inventory system and the fact that they're so fragile, it's just not a good combination. I just wish it was more finely tuned. If they were going to insist on it, they should have had a repair system, in my opinion. And I think the next game overall should have weapon variety, but it shouldn't have weapon fragility. I really don't think weapons should break. And then the stamina is kind of a difficult thing because you can choose to make it better, but the game doesn't really incentivize you to do that. They give you the choice between that and health, and you think, well, I mean, I'm going to choose health because I want to be stronger. So if you do that, you sacrifice your ability to traverse certain parts of the map and to really, explore. And it's a beautiful game. It's got beautiful scenery. Graphically, it's really, really good. And when your weapons don't break, the combat can be fun. But the problem is, you end up wandering into areas a lot of times that you're not prepared to deal with. At least that was my problem. And I just kept dying over and over and over. Climbing those mountains in the rain, though. Yeah, exactly. And getting struck by lightning, that's another thing. And then how they handled, in the past, how they handled doing environmental tuning, or not environmental tuning, environmental tunics, excuse me, where you would be able to use a tunic to go into a different environment. Now you have to do a whole bunch of prep work by prepping food to keep you within a certain temperature. And I love the cooking. I that's my favorite part of the entire game is the cooking. The cooking and being able to hunt for the food. I love it. I love that. But to me, again, it's just adding layers and layers to things that in the past were simplified. And I personally don't think it makes for a good experience. And I just feel like they try so hard to. Have you seen the Breath of the Wild cookbook by Carrie Fry? I haven't. I'm sure it's pretty good though, because a lot of the food in that game looks pretty great, for sure. But you know, adding layers on top of different tasks that in previous games used to be, I would say, less tedious. It doesn't really appeal to me. And I think a lot of videos, there's a lot of videos talking about why Breath of the Wild is a good game, but it's not a good Zelda game. And they go in depth as to why, as its own thing, it works, but as a Zelda experience, it falls short of the mark in a lot of places. And I have to agree with them on that. I think that's the core problem I had with it, is it's trying so hard to adopt practices that a lot of the Western RPGs have done, a lot of the Western action-adventure RPGs have done. And as a result, it's sort of lost a little bit of its identity. Some of the staples really aren't there, which doesn't matter to a whole lot of people. That you know, there's a lot of omissions of items and, you know, sort of iconic things. But for others, it's just kind of jarring. I think because it's such a radical shift, because the last game, Skyward Sword, love it or hate it, I personally don't care for it because of the controls, and that's why I didn't bother with it. Although I had fun with it when I demoed it when it came out in Best Buy. I do remember that, but it wasn't enough to make me go, yeah, I want to buy it. But that's still, for the most part, outside of the control scheme, that was a traditional Zelda experience. You know, through and through. They had some breakable objects that you could repair. They had, you know, the motion controls were different, but it still felt like a core Zelda experience. This game, they said, we're going to make it open-ended, which is fine. That works for Zelda in the sense that it is generally more open-ended, but still linear. Problem is, they add in all these other elements like breakable weapons. Breath of the Wild equals Skyrim Zelda. Yes, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, with the breakable weapons, with the way that things work, they just overhauled it, and they added in, like you would say, Skyrim type elements and other things, and it just doesn't feel like Zelda. And I'm sure there's arguments back and forth as to whether or not that's a good or bad thing. I personally don't care for it, because the game for me is such a mixed bag. Like I said, there are things that I do like. I like the hunting, and I like parts of the combat. But the reason I haven't touched the game since that initial month of its release and all the hours I put in there, just because it doesn't make me want to play it again, knowing what I'm going to have to do to actually progress. I don't look forward to what I have to do to progress. Now, I know there's a lot of games where you'll find situations and levels that you don't necessarily want to do, but the overall package of the game makes that tolerable. Breath of the Wild doesn't have that for me. It doesn't have that factor of it's so good that these drawbacks can keep me from playing it. Or can keep me playing it consistently. I have a friend who, actually, he's been a guest a couple times, Flammable. He adores Zelda. It's his all-time favorite series. I made him a Zelda logo. And when he told me he stopped playing it, and he adored the game. I don't think he had anything really bad to say about it. But he told me that he stopped playing it simply because he was tired of dying all the time. He felt like he was dying to everything just because you go into so many areas, you wander into areas where you've got enemies that are so much stronger than you are, and you don't have the proper equipment, and you don't know where you would go to get the proper equipment. And I agreed with him, because I ran into the exact same problem. So, I mean, overall, I don't think it's a bad or really even a terrible game. It's just not a game, it's not a Zelda game that I like. And that's the same with Majora's Mask. It does a lot of things right. I think it fixed a lot of the visual things of Ocarina of Time and improved on the engine a little bit, but Not a huge fan of. I mean, its biggest selling point, I guess, for Majora's Mask for most people is the story, but yeah, I just didn't care for the story. I felt like, and it's not because it was different, because plenty of Zelda games have a story that doesn't revolve around Ganon and the Triforce and all that. But it was mostly because it felt disjointed to me. You know what your main objective is, but the draw people have with Majora's Mask is all the different side stories from the different side quests that you can do. 10 times battle. Oh, here we go. Gotta win this. And they got 2 chargers. I don't know how this is gonna go. My favorite part was seeing a dragon for the first time. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I saw that and I was like, wait, is that a dragon? And I just kept staring at it and being like, that's different. It feels like something that should have been a part of the Zelda universe for a while, but really hasn't been. Yeah, we have to win this. I mean, we don't have to, because there's going to be other ones, but it'll help out real well. I'm going to watch my ink. I'm going to try to stick close to my teammates as much as I can here. It's going to be hard. Also gotta watch that flank though, because we can come down from that quick and looks like they're not though. They're staying roughly in their spawn. Surprise! Well, that didn't do much, but it was a good distraction at least. And now you got the guy with the charger just sitting up there. That's not good. That's actually really, really bad. Gotcha. Yeah, looks like we're doing pretty okay. And the reason we're doing okay is because I think that the teammates spawned where I was and they focused on where they were coming in. And you don't see that a lot in this game. We've got solid chances of winning now. We're pretty far. Back off just a little bit. Okay, if we didn't win that... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a curb stomping. That is a curb stomping. That is really good. And see, part of their problem was weapon composition. You had a roller, you had 2 chargers. Now, I mentioned before, it's not good to have more, it's usually not good to have more than 1 roller. So, you really want to make sure, especially in a Splatfest, when that you're thinking about team composition. Because having multiple ranged weapons, even if some of them are short range, like we have a whole bunch of dualies, that's fine. Because you're more flexible with that. But having rollers and having chargers, where you have disadvantages with range and mobility, Range more so for the roller than the charger. But with the charger, you have mobility problems. It's not great. So they had 2 chargers, a roller, and I think they had 1 ranged weapon. So you're gonna get outgunned every time. Getting very close to Tortoise King. I might just say I'll play till Tortoise King and then probably end it there. I don't know yet. Because I still haven't eaten today, so I gotta, at some point, get some food in me. It is almost 11 o'clock. Well, it's 10:12. That was really good for the team overall, that 10-time win. Really, really good. If we can follow it up with a win here, that'd be great, but... Oh, this map. This map is very unforgiving. This is a heavy, heavy spawn kill map. I thought that was an enemy bomb for a minute. We're doing okay. We're not... They haven't reached through so badly that they're spawn killing us. And that happens all the time on this map, and it infuriates me. I try not to really get ragey, but there times like that are infuriating because you feel so helpless. Oh, he's got a blobbler. Alright, come down here. Does he know I'm right there? Oh! Destroyed. I'm gonna do the... Nice try, buddy. Nice try. Almost had me. Almost had me. Wow. Now we're basically spawn killing them. Look at that! We are absolutely destroying them. There's a very weirdly placed ink storm. But I'm just going to clean up around here till the end of the match, because there's really no point in pushing any further. They're already pushed pretty much all the way back. And they're just now starting to try to take back mid, but it's way too late. Oh yeah, that's a win. Now you can see they almost came back there. They almost did, but just wasn't enough. As soon as, see, that's the key to this map. As soon as you get within range of their spawn, it's over. If you can consistently hold that for long enough, it's over. One of the reasons I don't particularly care for this map. But we did it. We did what we needed to do, absolutely. So next up will either be the canal or Shifty Station. I kind of want to, just for something different, I'd like to go to Shifty Station. That guy's got the P90. Now, I know the stats don't say it, but I swear that the hero shot replica, stat-wise, even though it says it's exactly the same as regular splatter shots, it's better. I don't know how to explain it, but it's always been better for me. And I know the stats are almost exactly the same, and it's supposed to just be cosmetic, but I don't know what it is. A lot of the times I feel like the stats in these games aren't very accurate. At least when it comes to the weapons stat. I use a splatter shot. Now, I was saying earlier, I don't know if you played the original Splatoon, but in the original Splatoon, they had the wasabi splatter shot, which was an awesome color variant. It was like a nice green. It was like a Sheldon variant, and I'm still holding out hope that that's going to find its way into the game, because a lot of the other weapons from that game have, like the cherry nozzle nose and all these other variants. The gold end zap there, which isn't bad either. But that's the weapon that I want the most. The wasabi splatter shot. That was a main weapon for me for a long time in that game. But I didn't have the game very long. I only had it a couple months before Splatoon 2 came out, because I played the test fire of Splatoon 2. And I was like, this game is fantastic. I need to get into this. So I went and bought the first game and started playing it and had a blast. The thing is great. Oh wow! See, look at they've already hard charged mid, but we gotta push him out of our spawn area. Just don't know who's hiding in. So be careful. You could see a very strong, maybe not that side. See a very strong reverse push here, because they've pushed all the way up mid, and they've got us on defense. Dadgummit! Those Tenon missiles. Very nice play. That's cute. I don't think we have time to push back. Got it. I don't think that was enough. I really don't. We'll see, though. No, wasn't enough. Dang, I can never get that many kills. Usually I don't get a lot of kills. A lot of the time, what happens with me is they cluster up, and they're not aware that I'm there, so I just plow through them. But I'm an aggressive player. If you couldn't already tell from most of the stream, I am a aggressive player, for sure. I never played the first one. It was pretty great. The only thing that sort of held it back was having to use the Wii U gamepad as like a bottom screen. So when you transition to this game, a lot of the players, this was a common thing I remember seeing on the Splatoon Reddit as well, people did, you would look down whenever you got a special, because when you got a special in the first game, you'd look down and you would tap it on the screen. And if you want to look at the map, you would look down. But you kick that habit real easy. But it was a fantastic game. It was basically this game, but slightly different. Like, some of the specials were different, but a lot of the same maps. Same basic gameplay. Probably even the same engine. I'm pretty sure they just ripped the first game's engine onto here. Which makes sense, because why would they build a brand new engine for a sequel at this point in time? Oh no. Oh, good. I did not want to play with that team composition. That was terrible. 2 rollers, a charger, and then just me. There was no way. Now see, that's better. That's a lot better. We would have lost. There's no... If we would have won, it would have been an absolute miracle, and those two would have been the best roller players I've ever seen. But my gosh. 2 rollers, a charger, and then you've got just me with a short-range weapon. All it takes is for them to have an arrow spray, a splatter shot, a squelcher, splatling, anything with decent range, and you just get destroyed. Now that's pretty good. That's good composition. The blaster's a bit questionable, but like I said, the last time there was a blaster, if they're good with it, then hey. Another clout match. So we're in the purple. And they're the Squid Gang. Friend request received. I have to look at that. What's I'm doing? That's me. Okay, well, yeah, I will definitely add you. I wasn't sure if it was or not. Absolutely. Hey, there's a Yoshi egg. That's cool. Get a screenshot of that. Literal Easter eggs. The funny thing about that design, though, is I've actually, in my logo software, I've made that exact egg design with that size outline. Of course, you can't see it now because I covered it up. But, yeah. The only difference was I made the spots orange because I like orange. Orange is my favorite color, despite my green theme. But I just figured, originally it was orange, but I figured, well, you know what? I gotta do something more Koopa-oriented. It was actually a relatively, I would want to say it was a difficult theme to make, my current, but getting the panels, the hexagon panels to fit the way that I wanted them to look wasn't the easiest thing in the world. With a lot more pieces involved, it's always tougher. The shell itself is pretty easy. Oh, I got him! Are you serious? I think that's the first kill I've gotten with that thing. Oh, I didn't even see you. The bomb almost got me too. Wow, I'm getting really good with my reaction times. Apparently. got him. Man, I'm just on a roll. A buttered roll. I've gotten this kid how many times now? That's GG right there. Yeah, that was the whole team. I didn't even realize that. Demolished. I just want to see how many splats that was. Wow. Only 2 less than the top player. That's still a high number even for me, really. But I'm telling you, these Dapple dualies, they can't be stopped. Up close, they just melt people. And they don't even have a high damage rating. That's what I'm saying. The damage ratings in this game are very deceptive. Because weapons that usually have a low damage rating, I find end up killing a lot quicker. I think it's mostly just range damage. Like, yeah, they don't have a high range, but up close, I mean, you guys saw how I just melted them. Even a splatter shot at that range doesn't melt that quickly. That's why the Dapples are my favorite dualies. And there's enough variants of them for people who want different specials. Still don't get the toothbrushes on the ends, though. That's one of life's great mysteries. Starting to get a little tired here. I'm almost at King, though. Tortoise fangirl Paul. Oh, wow, I just noticed that. That's funny. Hair Champion, What I'm Doing. I love the names in this game, by the way. They are fantastic. I see the best names I've ever seen online in this game. Hands down. It's cool seeing some of the spring Easter art, too. They're on a 2-win streak. Let's break it. Hopefully. So I think the Yoshi egg moved. Well, that's cool. So it's like a dynamic Easter egg type thing. That's neat. Curling bomb launcher. I'm gonna watch myself here. Are you gonna come down here? No, teammate took care of it. Miss Paul. Tortoise King Paul, and his waifu Inkling. Go, Miss Paul. Yeah, I'm actually kind of rooting for him at this point. In fact, it looks like he got a majority of the splats. Somebody is up there with a charger just spitting it out. Yeah, I want to get this, but I gotta be really careful. For that reason, are you gonna come down? That's what I thought. I'm sure some people are like, why would you waste that on roller? But the way they're playing, I'll get my special back pretty quickly. You see that? That was 4 4 bursts or four shots up close in rapid succession when they're down. Oh, I knew I was dead right there. Hannah or Hana. So far, this has not been a bad Splatfest, though. Usually, I skip them because they just get so frustrating because all of the top-tier players. But I think now that they've split between pro and casual, it's a whole different experience. But let's see how we did. Oh, we did not so great. That's GG. It's alright. You know, we're not outright losing every match, but I'll tell you what, we put up a good fight. For sure. Getting ever closer. I think another win should put us at king. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, thanks. His name jinxed us. Now, see, that's a name. Johnny. Tortoise Champion Johnny. Just your average Johnny. I guess Paul's a pretty average name, too, really. IW Star Midnight. The way Midnight is spelled, I'm going to assume that that's a girl, but I'm not sure. Oh, that's right. I was going to check on that friend request. And become friends. Cool. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but I thought I could do it fast enough, so... Yeah. You can't assume genders in Splatoon. Squids are genderless. They just have different hairstyles. The lore of Splatoon is actually... it's surprisingly deep. No pun intended. And this game actually expanded on it quite a bit, especially the relationship with the human race. Because the first game hinted at sort of what had happened to humans. But it never really went too far. But this one, it makes more sense. I will say this is the best post-apocalyptic future I think you could imagine. DJ Octo. Now we're talking names. But yeah, the lore is like, because you always wonder, how are these creatures who are humanoid, but also they're humanoid, but they're also aquatic and they can't swim. So obviously they're not human, but what are they? And it says that sea life evolved, you know, from the circumstances of what happened to the humans. There was sort of a nuclear war and polar ice caps, but it's a bright future. It's still weird in a way only Japan can do, but it's interesting. I think what's his name? Lockstin from Lockstin and Noggin. He did a lore video on Splatoon explaining the scientific ramifications of what had happened and how the world came to be like it was. It was really good. It's actually one of my favorite videos of his. That suction bomb was a little too close for comfort. Need to get all this cleaned up. I think what I'm going to do is go up top. Oh, I rolled the wrong way. I suck at rolling with dualies. But yeah, the lore of Splatoon is really fascinating, and what's interesting is there's still a lot of room for them to continuously add to it. And the Octo expansion did a little bit more, and at least, well, at the very least, it added a little bit more lore to the hosts to Off the Hook, which was really cool. With the whole instant message chat thing that they did there, which I thought was just amazing. Well, I pushed him back, but it wasn't enough. They've got us kind of locked here. Happens a lot in this map. Is it weird that the single-player story makes me nauseous to play, but multiplayer doesn't? I wouldn't say that it's weird, because I think with the single-player, you deal with a lot more verticality than you do in the multiplayer. There's a lot of spinning and steep climbing, and some of the single-player levels are incredibly hard. Just because of the way they want you to approach them. So I wouldn't say that's weird at all. Because there's definitely added motion to what you're doing in the single player, because you're platforming, but you're not, you know. And then the Octo expansion. The Octo expansion is just brutal. I breathed a strong sigh of relief when I was done with that. Because that was, oh man, that was rough. It's a good thing a lot of those levels are optional. But if you want to use the Octoling, you have to beat the Octo expansion. You have to beat the main story. And you go into it thinking, oh yeah, that's easy enough. It just gets harder and harder, and it feels like more of a climb. It gets real tough. It's not something I'd play through again. It's not worth it to me for just a cosmetic change. But I did it, and now I have the option to play as an Octoling if I want. I can go back and forth, but I just settled on a Squid Kid because, I don't know, reasons. A lot of turf unlinked here. A lot of turf unlinked. I know everybody likes to bum rush mid, but it is turf war. Oh, they did a good job up here. Just go back a little. I want to draw some of them into this. he's got a blaster. That was really bad. I could tell I was screwed there. That's not a good matchup. Closer I get, the more dead I am. Even with these. He's got the damage. So I gotta really keep my distance. And if I'm gonna go in, I gotta really double team that guy. Didn't get the splat though. Almost a kill. There we go. I was lucky I got him right mid-burst. I would have been dead though. Splatted USA. There you go. I splatted the country. United States. The whole USA. Or at least part of it. I don't see any ink outside my door. That would be one of the strangest things ever. Just like a bunch of ink just falls from the sky and it looks like a giant turf war. They had a real life turf war in the UK at one point as a promotional event, I think for the first or second game. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's GG. Couldn't do it. Wow. Hard loss. 68.3 to 23.2. It's not great. And we had pretty decent weapon composition. It's just, I think they were just so focused on mid. It just, they didn't try to really work around them. And there really weren't a lot of routes to do that. They had it pretty locked down. They were Japanese, that's why. Exactly. They know this game so well, and they're so good at it. I'm sure in Japan they've got a pretty healthy, competitive community for Splatoon. I don't doubt that at all. In fact, I've seen that in the few Splatoon competitives that I've watched, the few tournaments. I missed the tournament at PAX. I really wanted to watch that, but I don't know what I was doing at that time. But I'm pretty sure they streamed it. I think actually Japan was one of the leading teams for the World Championships that one year at E3, either last year or the year before. One of the Asian teams was in the lead. I remember that. And I don't remember if they won or if they lost. It was a while ago. I love that when they brought back Nintendo World Championships, though. That was awesome. That was really cool. I wish they would do that every E3, but oh well. I still wonder what they're going to do for this E3. Obviously, they're going to do a Treehouse event, but I wonder if they're going to have anything new for the show floor. I tell you, if Animal Crossing is there, I'm going to envy those people if they get to play it on the floor, even if it's just a demo version. Reggie is gone. Yeah, I know. It's really sad. And the sad part about that is I really wanted to actually have an opportunity to meet him. I was hoping to go to Nintendo New York. I'm only 3 hours away from there at one of their events and hopefully just at least get a chance to shake his hand, but he's retired now, and you know what? More power to the guy. I mean, think about it. The guy started as CEO of Pizza Hut, and he worked his way up to Nintendo. And he'll go down in history as one of the best CEOs of the US division that they've had. In terms of both public relations and just really, I think a lot of people don't realize he really worked with Japan well. He worked with Mr. Miyamoto. He worked with Mr. Iwata. May he rest in peace. Brilliant man right there. I never understood how brilliant he was until I watched the Gaming Historians documentary on him. He was a masterful programmer. The whole reason Pokemon Gold, Gold and Silver, they at first didn't know how to add, because they wanted to add the entire Kanto region to the game, but they couldn't figure out how to do it space-wise. He was president at the time, and he did it himself. Or at least he laid the groundwork on how to do it himself. That's phenomenal. And the last thing that I heard that he did was when Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U, he did some, I think he did some cleanup on some of the code. I mean, it's just, there's no words for a guy who is that grassroots with gaming. I mean, it's see him rise up to the point where Nintendo, which has traditionally been, you know, the executives have traditionally been in the Yamauchi family. You know, like, he was the first one outside of that family. He was that talented of a programmer and just naturally gravitated towards it. But he always, the thing I appreciated about him was he was always a gamer at his core. One of his quotes says, you know, on my business card it says I'm a CEO. And then, you know, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something along the lines of, on my business card says I'm president and CEO. My job description says I'm a programmer, but in my heart I'm a gamer. Something along those lines. Of course, I'm paraphrasing there. Wow, 1% win. But brilliant man. Tremendous loss to the gaming community as a whole. Like, I still feel that one. It's going to be the same way when, hey, there we go, Tortoise King. So, do 2 or 3 more matches, and I think I'm going to wrap it up. But, all hail King Koopa. Heck yeah. Yeah, so, when Mr. Miyamoto passes, I mean, he's in his mid to late 60s. So, I mean, he's probably got a few years left. He seems to be in very good health. But it's going to be a big loss, because even though he wasn't a programmer, I mean, the man was at Nintendo for almost, at some point, I think it's going to be coming up on 40 years. And he was influential. He taught Iwata a lot of the stuff about, because Iwata knew how to make a game, but Miyamoto knew how to make a game fun. I loved him. I had that quote as my Facebook banner for a while. Yeah, it's a powerful quote. And the sad reality is there's probably not going to be another CEO like him. I do, as far as the Nintendo America situation is concerned, I do have hope for Doug Bowser, but I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be different, but I think he's going to try his hardest to be personable. And he was already in stuff before. You know, he was around the company before. He was involved, so he's somebody who knew Reggie, who knew how Reggie operated, so he's the best logical choice. But it's just going to be an adjustment, I think, for people. A new executive. And the question is he going to follow the policies that Reggie had, or is he going to try to implement something different? If he's just personable with fans like Reggie was, he will be loved too. And I think he fully understands that. That's probably the biggest thing he understands. But it is going to be an adjustment, because it'll be interesting to see, will he be willing to really listen to people, listen to the fans, and understand. You know, he saw Reggie do that. Reggie really took time to listen to what people had to say, and he gave the best answers as a representative of the company that he could. And he was real good at it, too. I mean, he was just a good executive all around. Nintendo has had good executives. I'm sure they've had ones that aren't so great too, as in any company, but he was a good CEO. I mean, yeah, he wasn't a programmer like Iwata was, but he was, in terms of public relations, I think he set one of the gold standards. He always gave honest answers to questions, to both the press and to the fans. And he knew how to sell the product. He didn't really let his handlers do a lot of that, you know? Oh man, it's getting to the point in the night where it's so cold in my basement that my nose is starting to run. Ugh. I was honestly hoping Reggie would announce the first Animal Crossing on his last day before retiring. That would have been cool, but I'm sure with the way that things worked in a business sense, they probably wanted to make it a very quick transition, so that way they could get to business quickly. And I think the longer they prolonged it, the more difficult it would have been for the transition to go smoothly. But of course, this is probably something that was in the works since sometime last year or the year before. It was just a question of when they pull the trigger, so to speak. But that's a good win. We're already maxed out. So now it's a question of just getting the last piece of gear. So I'll do one more match, then I'll scrub the shirt, and then we'll call it a stream. Been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm satisfied with that for a test stream. That's about what I'd go for a regular amount of time. I usually don't go past an hour or two, just because it does get tiring, and there's other stuff I like to do, but I want to give people a good opportunity to be able to join and enjoy some gameplay and conversation. It's been a good stream tonight, real good stream. Real good. Wow, somebody, a Japanese team won 100 times battle for Team Tortoise. Good stream. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sticking around for it too and engaging the chat. The chat doesn't get a lot of engagement because not a lot of people. Either they come into the stream and then they just kind of leave because they lose interest, or they don't bother engaging. Sometimes they do, but the chat's usually not very active, so it's usually just sort of a blank box, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. People too lazy to type. Yeah, or they don't know how to engage, or they don't know what to say, or I like to try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but a lot of times people will just come in and leave. They don't really stick around. So hopefully, as I continue, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been streaming for a couple of years now. But community interactions have always sort of ebbed and flowed. It's just kind of how it is on Twitch. I'm glad where I'm at right now, though. I don't really want to be a big quote streamer or a big YouTuber. I just my policy is put the games first. It's about the games, you know, and about my love of Nintendo above all gaming companies, really. You know, and I love, you know, older PlayStation and Xbox and PC. But Nintendo has my heart 100%. That's why I shifted my focus to being Nintendo only. Where for a while I wasn't sure what kind of content I wanted to do. Nintendo's been the best because the games are just the most engaging for me, the most fun for me. I love the characters, love the franchises. It's just great. Everything is colorful and joyful in a world that's pretty freaking depressing, honestly. And it's content that everybody can watch, you know, so when I start streaming, I just hope to maybe get a few solid followers like that to engage and talk about games like I do. Well, you will. Trust me. You will. You play the right content, you really just, you know, engage your audience, just have fun, create a good environment, and you'll do just fine. I believe you'll do fine. You just gotta make sure you're having fun doing what you're doing, you know? Once an audience sees that, then they, you know, they feel better about it. Uh-oh, they broke through. One roller. Easy cleanup. It was just one roller. Looks like I got the assist on that. Got yucky. Oh, that's why they're losing. They've got 2 rollers. 3 rollers. Wait, were they all rollers? Or is it just, like, all but one? Boom, decimated. I'm curious now. Oh, it was all but one. Wow. There we go. Proof right there. I know there's a lot of people who like rollers, but you really got to think about your team composition. You're gonna get out, like I said, you're gonna get outgunned if you've got majority rollers on your team. It's just, that's what's gonna happen, because the weakness of the roller is that it just doesn't have the range, unless you're really good with flinging it. So let's go get this shirt scrubbed and then go to the stream over screen and say the thank yous, the goodbyes, and all that great stuff. Alright, let's scrub these slots. Some nice old ability chunks. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. We move over to the stream over screen. Just say thank you to everyone. The music's a little loud, but turn it down just a little bit. Alright, so thank you folks, really appreciate it. And I guess I can't say for sure when the next stream is going to be, because I'm still dealing with the whole sleep apnea thing. Today was an anomaly because I sort of had a second wind of energy. But hopefully, if I'm feeling up to it, maybe I'll try to do Monday of this upcoming week, but I can't make any definitive promises there. I'll try to do one this week, but if I'm not up for it, then I'll probably just say I'm not up for it. But I'll at least try now that I know things work. So hopefully I can get some good sleep. And thank you to RPG Anomaly for coming and engaging chat, and anybody else who may have come and stuck around and enjoyed the gameplay. And I'll see you guys next time. And if you're watching on YouTube, because this will probably be there, then thanks for sticking around for at least 2 hours. So, this has been Super Koopa Gaming. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.